Alright, Jake Phelps here, and in this video I'm going to do a very thorough explanation of troubleshooting a bad starter. The starter and the solenoid on this are both the same piece, so you can't just jump the solenoid. I tried banging on the starter, that didn't work. Another thing I tried to do is I put a screwdriver in this wheel and tried to turn it manually, thinking that maybe it was just in a bad spot where it was connecting with the starter, like the flywheel where it connects to the starter, the spline that jumps out of the starter connects to the flywheel, thinking maybe it was just in a bad spot. Sometimes that'll happen, but I tried that, turning it and then trying to start it, and it just did the exact same thing. So this is what it does when I try to start it. First off, it goes here, the airbag thing goes off, it says check gauge right there, and the battery thing does stay on. I put a brand new good battery in here to test that, go ahead and knock that out of the way. So this is what it does when I try to start it. It like half starts and then just stops. And then does that. So to me, what that sounds like is it's like half engaging and then knocking out. So I'm pretty sure I need to go ahead and pop a new starter on this thing. What I'm going to do in this video is show you how to take off and put on a starter in a 1999 Ford Explorer, and I'm going to show you very detailed how to do it because there are tricks to it and it is tricky. Okay, your VIN number is going to be right here in this little window if you look in the windshield, and what you're going to want is your 8th number, but it's actually going to be a letter, but that's what you're going to need to identify exactly which starter it is that you need. Alright, that's the driver's side door. The positioning of this thing is right under here, like so. The ground is all wet. Here's where it is. This is how it's right there. That's what I want to take off. There's one of the bolts right there to the top of your screen. That's the starter. That's what I have to get off there. It's very awkward, but I'll get into all that and the best way to go about it. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and lift up that wheel, that corner right there, which is right there. Alright, for this I put my emergency brake on. I have the bottle jack that comes with this vehicle. That's what I'm using, and I have it on wood. You always want to use wood, and there is where I'm putting it, and that's how I'm putting it, just like so. Alright, what I'm doing here is I have it on the spot like it's supposed to go, but then I have this part of the jack a little bit off, just so that it's easier for me to spin this when it's in there. Because if you have it, see, just like that, so you're not hitting a whole bunch of stuff when you're trying to lift this thing up and lower it. Just have it a little bit cockeyed. There's no real nice, easy, pretty way to do this, so this is the technique I'm using. Half turn at a time. Alright, I've got it jacked up enough just so that I can slide in there and do the work that I need to do. And I went ahead and lifted it on the frame as opposed to right here on that little knob. That's where you're supposed to do it for changing tires. Just because I want to lift the frame up, because I'm actually working on the vehicle. I don't want all that extra nonsense to deal with. And the I put a piece of cardboard down. It's nice and easy sliding in and out of there because I'm doing this by myself. And also for this part, there's actually a piece that goes in there, and then you hook this to that and just spin it real easy. And where that's located is right here. It's under the carpet right there. The jack and everything's in there. I don't have that. I don't know where it went. So that's why I just went ahead and did it like that. I assume those are missing in a lot of these vehicles. And also that thing, you got to have that or a long straight head screwdriver to drop your tire down. And you put that in there. There's a little hole. And what it does is it drops your tire down. So that's good to know as well. Alright, so I'm back under here. My feet are sticking out of the front of the vehicle. Also another reason I didn't want that jack at the front. And I just got this first bottom nut broke loose. And as you can see before it fell, I've got I think it's a 1/2 inch socket wrench there. And it's a 13 mil. I'm using you can use a 13 millimeter or a 1/2 inch for that. This is a 13 millimeter. I think it might be a 1/2 inch. I don't remember. But anyway, you can use either one of those. And that's how I broke it loose with that little rig I had there. She was tight. She was very, very tight. I mean, I'm not looking forward to the next one. But I just kind of put that on there like that. And so I had nice leverage on there. I had a big wrench. And that got her, see? So I'm going to go ahead and take this off now. And real quick, you should definitely disconnect the positive wire that connects to the starter right here. Prior to doing this, I didn't, but you should do that. You should disconnect it from the battery. And right here is where the jack is supposed to go. And I mean, that's right where I'm working. That's right where my torso is. So, and I got my feet sticking out the front of the vehicle here. So just to give, you know, it's the best way for me to get the leverage and everything I need to have a better working area. Alright, I've got the first nut off here. As you can see there. Go ahead and set that somewhere I'm not going to lose it. This is the positive cable coming from the battery here. Go ahead and slip that off. And that's what that looks like. And then what you got another. That's why you got to have a deep socket for this next part. So you got to use a deep socket and put that on there and unscrew that. Alright, and once again here I put the 13 millimeter deep socket on there. I had to do this trick again with the, so I had my leverage and all that fun stuff to get that off there, because it was really tight as well. But now that got broke loose. Shouldn't be that bad. She's tight though. I really should have disconnected that freaking cable from the battery. Being lazy. Alright. And I'll show you what this looks like right after I get it off here. Because this is a weird bolt. Keeps tricking me. Got me thinking I can get it finger. There it is. Nope, not quite. That's what that weird bolt looks like. Right there. So it holds it on there. Holds the starter on there. And leaves that spot right there for the positive cable. Okay, take that off. Now for the top one, which is the hard one. This is a biggie, so pay close attention. Alright, here's this thing. You'll see it when you're under here, the thing that connects the tire to whatever. You put your hand in front of that. There's like a little hole there. See, my hand's up behind here. That way you can put your socket on there. And I got a 13 millimeter deep socket on here. And I've got a 1/4 inch wrench, a shorter one. Okay? And like pretty much the only way to break that loose is then have your big wrench and kind of fit it here. Like so. And then you can get the leverage you need at that weird angle and break that thing loose. I mean, that's huge. And also knowing about putting your hand, you know, right in that little cubby hole there. But I got it broke loose now, so it shouldn't be that hard from here on out. So I broke her loose like that. I didn't get that on camera, but I just showed you how to do it. So you should be good. And the wrench I'm using, it's a 7/8 big wrench. That's what I'm using for my leverage wrench. Alright, I've got both those bolts out, and I just disconnected the battery just to be safe. Alright, now I've got those 2 bolts out completely. Put them somewhere safe. And then I wiggled it through this little hole right here. That shouldn't be too hard to figure out. And then now what I gotta do is disconnect the solenoid, which is these two. I gotta take these two right here and right here. They're star head. You'll see them once you get it down there. I gotta get those off so I can disconnect the solenoid, and then I can get to the wires to get them off of that to fully disconnect this thing. So it's definitely a process. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Alright, now I've got the solenoid disconnected. I had to hold this and then push up on this so that this little nipple would come out. And now I have to disconnect this nut right here and this nut right here so that it's fully off of the truck finally. The starter's connected to the solenoid with T25 star heads, and this first one that I want to get off right here, it's a 10 millimeter. I don't know what this one is yet. I'll tell you exactly once I get to it. Alright, I had to put a pair of straight head screwdriver in there and kind of wiggle that to pop it off. And that was a 10, and this is a 13, so I'm going to take that off now. 13 millimeter. For this last one here, since it's just kind of free hanging there, I had to hold the starter against my chest and then push up on that to get the right leverage and angle I needed to get it loose. And again, my feet are sticking out the front of the vehicle. I'm much further under now than I was before though. Alright, I'm back with my new starter. Ended up being $120 after or $140 after the core charge. It would have been like $180. And here it is. I noticed that this has a lot less slop in it than the other one. The other one was moving all weird, and you can just tell it wasn't right. One thing that Ford said could be an issue with non-start. Mine had a little bit of try to it, but they said that it could be the connector lead, so they'll come with this now on them. Hopefully that's not my issue, because I just took it off because I don't feel like crimping it all up in there and everything. So hopefully that doesn't mess me up and I can just reconnect right to everything. So I'm good and pop this baby on here now. Alright, I'm on the second nut now, and the way I'm making it a lot easier on me is I'm resting it on my chest right there, so I can work with both hands, and just makes everything a whole lot easier. And again, my feet are sticking out the front of the vehicle, so that's making things a lot easier here. Okay, with this first one I put on here, the first nut and the first lead, you don't want that to be real tight yet, because when you put it in there, it's going to foul you up trying to put it in there. So you want to tighten that after you get it up in there. Alright, now I've got it up in there. I got to reach up in there and tighten that one nut a little bit, and then go ahead and start putting it all the way together. And you got to remember which way it goes up in there. Like the way I did it is I put it up in there upside down, then spun it into place once I got it up in there. So that was the easiest way for me to do it. Alright, I've got my bottom stud, bolt, whatever you want to call it, in place. I don't have it tight. I got it kind of loose. And then I just set my top bolt in there, ready to go. I just wanted to make sure make sure I had something on there before I started messing with the top, just to make sure, because I'll probably have to wiggle it a little bit at the top to get that hole and everything straight. So I've got something, so it's stable right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the top one now. You won't be able to see that. Just about got it now. That top one was very difficult. Just got to remember to use your small handled socket wrench. I just gotta go ahead and tighten both these down and connect my cable right here back to there, and then put the nut on there, and hopefully she'll start up. Alright, I've got everything pretty tight. Before I connect this up, I'm gonna go ahead and brush this and brush this a little bit, just because I'm here, so why not? Alright, now everything's back together, nice and tight. Now it's time for the moment of truth. I connect the battery, and I'm also going to go ahead and, because I'm sure that this battery's probably drained a little bit, I'm going to hook it up like I'm going to jump start it prior to starting it here, just so, you know. I think it's flooded from all the trying to start it, so Okay, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.